objects based off of color. And they're the fourth icon down on your tool menu. We have a quick selection tool and the magic wand tool. Let's start with the magic wand tool. Notice you have your 4 selection boxes up here, and we have tolerance. Tolerance basically means that you are setting a range when sampling color or when selecting areas of color. The higher the number, the more range of color is going to be selected. The lower the number, the smaller amount of color is going to be selected. So we're going to start off at about 50, let's start with 50 or 49. And as we start to click inside of our duck, notice that the marching ants are not yet all the way around the duck. So it takes quite a bit of time to make sure that you get all of the pieces of the duck. So we really want to do this as fast as possible. Let's deselect Command D, and I'm going to set my tolerance to 150. So now when I go to select my duck, notice that the process is going much faster, and I am able to select a duck in a short period of time. From now though, we need to take a look at what our selection looks like. So if we press Refine Edge up here at the top, I'm just going to switch my view to on black so I can see it. Notice we have some residual white outline and it looks pretty jagged. We can choose the Smart Radius option, and the radius basically helps Photoshop to find the edge of our object in comparison with its background. So I'm just going to up it until it appears that it looks pretty good. We also have an option to smooth our selection so it's nice and smooth instead of jagged. We can also adjust and shift our edge so that we get less of the background. And that looks pretty good. We can even hit Show Original so we can see before and after. Click OK. And there we have our selection. And it's selected relatively well in comparison with our first selection. Okay, so let's take a look at another tool. We also have the Quick Selection tool. Quick Selection tool works in terms of a brush. We can just brush on our selection. So notice up here we have 3 different brushes. We have the New Selection button, Add to Selection, and Subtract from Selection. You can make your brush bigger or smaller by using your bracket keys. So basically we're just going to brush it on. So if I click inside of the duck's head and I drag my mouse, notice it takes a good portion of the head. I drag over the eyes, the side over here, and the duck's beak, and the rest of his body in a pretty short period of time. I'm going to hit my Refine Edge again just to make sure I have the best selection possible. And this one kind of gives you not the best selection in the world, so you always want to use Refine Edge to make sure that you can get it as good as possible. Adjust my edge a little bit, much better in comparison with before. Okay. And there we have our selection using the Quick Selection tool. So now there's a couple more things we can do if I get rid of the duck here. We're going to take a look at our troll dolls here. And what we can do is using the Quick Selection tool, I'm going to select our troll doll. And now when you have fuzzy things, it makes it a more difficult selection. So we can use a portion of the Refine Edge window in order to get the best selection possible. So I'm just going to do this pink one here just to start off. So I'm going to do the Refine Edge. I've got a rough selection of the hair. I'm going to start with Smart Radius, up it just a little bit. And then notice that you also get this brush here. And I'm going to make my brush about this size. And all I'm going to do is paint over the fuzzy areas of the troll doll's hair. You don't want to do this on top of hard edged objects like its body, because otherwise what will happen is it will start to make it transparent. So basically Photoshop is trying to find the background in comparison with the object's hair. That looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to click OK. And in a nice new document, we're going to be able to see that it looks pretty good now that we have used that option to fix the hair. Notice for the most part you can see the strands of hair than you did before. Okay, so let's go to another one. Let's go to Red Rose. Another little trick that you can do is if you take your magic wand or your Quick Selection tool, sometimes it's easier to select the background instead of the object. So I'm going to select the white background. Notice the marching ants around the edge of the document and around the red rose. If we right click, you can then choose Select Inverse, which means the opposite. So the opposite selection would be the rose. And now we have just the rose in a very quick amount of time. Just going to fix my radius a bit. smooth, adjust my edge so I don't see any white background. And there we have a pretty good selection of that red rose in a relatively quick amount of time. So that is out the remaining of the selection tools. I hope that was helpful. See you soon.